All right, friends, Zig coming in on the top. Today on the show, we have the legendary King Yellowman, innovator of dancehall, and a man with more accolades to his name. The more I do research, the more I find that he's done and that he's credited for that it would take me way too long to put the right list up, because by the time I had finished my first list, I would have found more to add to it. It was an honor to have this conversation, and Yellowman's constant source of inspiration. Here's someone who had all the odds put against him, but he found his way through and innovated, not only made it, but innovated. Yellowman's on tour now with his daughter Karima. They got some new music coming out. There's a single that's been put out this year, but at the show they had a vinyl. I caught him at May Halls in Lakewood. And what was beautiful about the show was that it was a family affair. When the show started off, Karima opened up, and I was watching the crowd, and I look to the left, and I see where the backstage door is, and there's this guy holding a baby with headphones on and pointing out, and I put two and two together and realized, oh, that's Karima's baby. So that's Yellowman's grandchild. And then in the middle of Karima's set, Yellowman comes up, runs up on stage. It was like this ska tune, and just is dancing and getting into it. Doesn't even sing, is just supporting because he loved and was so moved by that song. And there was this beautiful family support that I've never seen at a show before. And then Yellowman gets up, and he's running the whole time. It was amazing. So if you can, I highly recommend you see these guys while they're on tour. To put a premise on the interview you're about to hear, I reached out to Yellowman's crew when I saw they were playing in Lakewood to schedule an interview, and we finally picked a day, and it was on a Wednesday, and they gave me a time for like a time frame of 1 to 3. I'm like, cool, assuming that they meant the Thursday. So I started to do my hours of research. If you guys have heard any of the other episodes before, you know it sometimes gets a little detailed. So I started to do my research, and then what happened was I read the email wrong, and they meant that day. So I started to panic, and I set up all my gear. Wasn't quite ready to roll with it. But then after the first couple minutes, it rolled into it and got pretty comfortable. And Yellowman's a very inspiring person. But with touring, the bus itself is kind of noisy. So there is kind of on both ends, some complications with hearing, and but that's been edited, so on your end you won't really hear what you're about to hear right now. Won't sound like that, but it led to one of the kind of pits of the interview where they got to their first stop, and I know how it is to travel. You only have so many stops, and we plan to continue the interview at another date. And it just didn't work out because they kept going down the road, and they ran into some more snags. The van broke down. I think they missed the gig because of it. And so right now, this is the part 1. Hopefully there's a part 2 in the future, but as of right now, this is a part 1, and I'm beyond honored to have gotten the chance to have a part 1. So before we dive into it, if you guys can like, rate, review, subscribe to the podcast on any of the podcast platforms, it really helps me to keep talking to inspiring people and share those insights with you guys. If you have not heard the last interview with Victor Wooten, please do. And without further ado, here's my interview with King Yellowman. Awesome. Cool. Well, where are you guys at now?
No, we in the bus. We on our way to Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay, cool. And the Detroit show didn't pan out too well?
Oh no. That one did cancel a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, how's the road been with a current concert climate, like with the COVID restrictions and everything? Has it been more difficult to make shows happen, or has it surprisingly been more easier with the way
No,
it is?
no, it's not difficult.
Okay.
Same thing. You
Okay.
know.
Yeah. So equally as hard, but
Yeah.
beautiful. All right. Well, my first question was, can you tell me about Sister Mary, who had the sound system?
Sister Ignatius.
Ignatius. Yes.
Yeah, man. Well, it's just I was in the Alpha Boy school, and she have a sound system, and she played only on Saturday, you
Okay.
know?
So
Yeah.
it was a treat. She wouldn't bring it out all the time.
Right, yeah, it was a treat for the boys at that time, you
Right.
know?
It's a it's
Yeah.
interesting because she was a nun, and I worked with some nuns with a part of my schooling, and music like she would play would be secular, right? Which is kind of unusual for a nun to play, right?
Yeah, well, a lot of people ask me that, you know, but, you know, knowing her and seeing her, it was, that was never in our
Mm,
mind,
right,
you know, because she was playing music because she loved music,
right.
you know, and she loved reggae music. So it was a normal thing for us.
It's interesting that there's kind of that stigma, like because when I was working with the nuns, they were like they were in Elvis, they were in the rock and roll, they were into not necessarily, I mean, hymnals and stuff, of course, but it's I don't know, it's kind of a, I think it speaks highly of the music and highly of a, it doesn't really matter, it affects us all the same. What type of music was she playing?
When she play reggae music,
Any artist in particular did she have a fancy for?
she used to play like Ken Modes, Daddy Uri, Big Youth. She played Mighty Diamonds. She played Culture, Burning Spear, Bob Marley,
Right.
you know.
Was that your first introduction to a lot of those artists, or
Well, no, because they used to play it on the radio,
right,
you know.
right? Because also from Alpha Boys, there was a lot of famed or not famed, but future musicians that came out, like Tommy McCook and Tim Gordon, Vin Gordon. Um,
Yeah, and you have Dean Fraser, you have Leroy Smart, and a couple more,
right.
you know.
So was there a big music program aside from
Yeah, they did have the Alpha Boys School band, but they they used to play instruments,
mm,
drums, guitars, clarinet, saxophone, trombone, trumpet,
right?
you know.
Did you dabble in any of those or?
No, no, was just a vocalist.
Oh, okay. Were you still football focused at the time?
Yeah, man, I always played soccer, you know, because I used to play on the soccer team.
Nice. And
Yeah.
was a when did you like because that seems to be at least physical activity and physical maintenance seems to be as equal of a passion for you. Um, did it just start off playing on the teams as a kid moving from all these different living situations, or was it more in the Alpha Boys where you really dove into the physical expression of yourself?
Well, from growing up, I did love soccer, you know, because we were listening, we're fond of Brazil, Argentina,
Yeah.
you know, Chelsea, Liverpool, all those soccer teams, you know.
So I've read that like growing up, you've had you're ridiculed by peers and other students. Was kind of the soccer team like place that didn't happen?
Oh no, it would not be there because one of us was um, grow up right away, you know. So we turned into big boys, you know.
That had to be a really good place place to kind of find yourself in a way because everyone's working together.
Right, right, yeah.
Wonderful. So now, when did you like? So when did you start working the sound system?
The sound system started working like in the late, the early the late 70s, going into the 80s.
Okay, so sister,
She said gracious.
she didn't let you work her system.
No, no, she cleared her system by herself.
Okay, okay,
But it's when I leave Alpha Boy School, I start to go around dancehall and sound system,
okay.
you
Is that
know?
when you met Jimmy Winter?
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yes, sir.
And now, so learning how to operate the system and how to run it, that had to be kind of second nature from seeing it and growing up around it. But like the DJ perspective is such a unique, I think, a unique place to be in because you get to see how the room moves. You get to see how the rhythm affects everybody.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, true, true.
so when were like some kind of early, or what were some type of early like observations of that? Like some before you started working, like what were some things you noticed always kind of affected people in certain ways?
Well, we always sing a lot of things that happen to us and happen in the atmosphere in terms of the people,
Yeah,
you know? So we go up hard. So our lyrical content, it was the way out,
right.
you know?
And then you were working at a as a DJ at Aces in St. Thomas, and that was through
Yeah,
Jimmy, right?
yeah, that was Mr. Jimmy Winter. But before Mr. Jimmy Winter used to go around with uh, Scorpio, um, Liquor Mafia, you know, and sound like Virgo, Gemini, Stereo and Stereogar, you know, and Stereophonic with General Echo, you know?
Right. So it all built up to that.
Yeah, right, right.
It was a lot of my early kind of music career here. I worked at a place called Aces, so I was relating to that. I'm like, oh, that's cool. It probably wasn't as cool as the
Yeah, yeah, that's where he bought all the sound system equipment from Ace Music Store in Miami. You know, that's the reason why you call the sound Aces.
oh, got it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um. So when did you? So through working there, you weren't always welcomed on the mic, right? You kind of had
Yeah, man.
and
Yeah.
Eek Mouse. He was the first guy who let you up. Can you speak about him?
Yeah, well, you have a type of bully. So when other guys would give me the mic, he come also take it from them and give it to me, you know? Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing because everyone. I imagine it was. to imagine it was the competition was fierce. I imagine a lot of people wanted to be in that position.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
but music is such a welcoming thing, and it does so much for so many people. And music
yeah,
itself
man.
isn't competitive. Um,
Yeah,
and part of that is I believe it's so potent when there's a rhythm and you can speak over it. Your message is definitely heard. So when you got on that mic for the first few times in a setting like that, um, what was kind of did you notice an immediate reaction, or did it just like fit right and you just like was there nerves involved? Were you nervous doing this, like, or did you just jump right into it and take the moment and were ready for it from years of working up to it?
yeah. Well, that's so. Yeah, well, that song was the type of dance back in the days. We we already prepared to do the lyrics right on the spot. We make up the music because we sing over the instrumental of the music.
Because like I imagine being in it, you know, it's hard to like I don't know. That's a years like to do a DJ. Sorry, let me reframe my question. DJs and just being able to work a mic like that involves such confidence, and that's what I think translate. There's a timid DJ. You don't really know of a timid DJ, so there's that presence and that you know exactly where to go, and like I've done some DJ gigs. Actually, I've done a lot and a lot of weird DJ gigs in weird places, but like which I'm sure you have too, but there's that just knowing how the show is going to run and knowing exactly where this music's taken this crowd is such an important feature of a DJ, and like it just
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We just it's like a show, you know. You feel the crowd and you know what they want and you know what they like. So you give them what they want and you give them what they like.
right. Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
And it's just like I don't they're depending on that from you too. It's like this beautiful give and take. Um can you talk a little bit about some of your DJ influences at the time?
Say
Sorry, can
that
you
again.
talk a little bit about your DJ influences at the time?
Yeah, well, my DJ influence is like, you know, we sing, as what I say, we sing what the people them like. You sing girl lyric, we sing Rastafari lyrics, ganja lyrics, you know. We sing all type of lyrics, you know.
Um did you uh did you ever do any work with a Big Youth during this time? No.
No, no,
Okay.
no, no, no. Only since I'm
Oh,
international,
okay.
you know.
Because I was reading a list of your influences and he popped up there. So while working through Aces, when did you meet Fathead?
Oh well, we need Fathead in a gig what we do in the countryside. So you know we became friends and you know we chat along together with the sound pieces and we have Likari and other guys like Jarubal and you know Kokoti and Wally Moore, you know.
And what was it like working with him? Because you guys done a
No, yeah, everything was good. But in the first stage it wasn't good, but you know.
from that time on. When did recording? Because recording like a lot of like what from what I understand, like your type of act was kind of just a live act. when did it start to become recorded, I should say?
Yeah, when producers start coming to dance and they listen and they say, I like that lyric, so they wanted to record. That's how the recording
Oh,
start, you
okay.
know?
Was that like? Oh, was that before the Tasty Talent Show or post?
Yeah, no, the Tasty Talent show is the
Okay,
first major stage show, you
got it.
know?
And that's what got everyone. That's where you got your attention from winning that.
Yeah, right.
And so it's interesting because I read that a lot of what you do is improv at first. A lot of
Huh?
what you do is improv. Like it's not written down. You go up there and do it.
Right, just
Right,
freestyle, you
right.
know?
So
Yeah, we don't write songs.
that's John Coltrane. That's you know I mean that's the essence
Yeah,
of music is it being in that moment on that spot and the you know and that's so
right.
like it's a you know it's one thing for someone who practices scales in their instrument because you can say a musical phrase and there's no other type of attachment other than emotion. But when you add lyrics to it,
Yeah,
there's this intellect that follows it. So it's much. I think it's much harder to be able to improv something like that. And like, man, the amount of work you put out doing that. But going into like these early gigs, um, did you like when a song would start? Did you have like a was there a phrase that came to mind, or was it just the rhythm and the song spoke?
no, it's just a natural talent, you know? So what happened is that when we go to the dance, to DJ, we will use an important topic and make it into music. You know, we take any topic, any part of a man body or a woman body, or any words, love, sex, you know, rasta, ganja, any word, I just turn it into music. So you call that freestyle.
So that kind of was the premise of it, and then everything just followed suit. Was there a
Yeah.
particular? I mean, this. I mean, I know it's kind of hard to ask questions about improv, and I'm finding myself doing that. But like, was there any like particular like with the rhythm bring up that main word, or would it just be kind of on your mind and you made it fit to the rhythm that you were hearing?
No, sometimes the rhythm give you the vibe also, you know. You like that rhythm, so, you know, it just gives you a natural melody, you know.
Do you ever find yourself worried in different occasions, like because it is a all kind of freestyle? Sometimes it might slip through the cracks and not be there, or is it always there?
No, it's always here.
Okay, that's
It's always here.
because I was like with certain songwriters when I've been interviewing them, they'll bring up like a lot of times they'll have a chord progression, right, or the music before, and then the lyrics come out naturally, just kind of like how it sounds like your process is.
Yeah, yeah, we come out naturally, you know, because we can sing about anything. The crowd, we can sing about the sound itself, we can sing about pieces itself, you know, we can sing about nobody move, nobody get hurt, because just like back in the days, you know, it became a natural thing to us, you know.
Is it like post during like during while you're kind of freestyling when a line sticks out, like the ones you just said, is there like a kind of a thing that goes off like, oh, that landed? I need to think about that or bring that up again, or were these kind of like were they like little magic aha
No,
moments?
we just sing it in a melody, and the crowd would go crazy. So we know what to
Right.
do for the crowd.
So you get that immediate response. So you're like, that one comes back.
Yeah,
um, can you? I also read that you said this is shifting gears. You said thinking is my healing. Can you elaborate on that?
yeah. Say it
You
again.
said thinking is my healing in an interview I read. Can you elaborate on that?
Oh, well, it's like, say for instance, if you have a sickness, if you think about it in a bad way, you will always feel pain. But if you don't think about the bad things that comes out of thinking, you don't think bad,
Right.
you know? So when I when I have the cancer, I never think that I going to die because mind over matters. You understand? You don't think about anything negative because when the doctor say I'm going to live for only 3 weeks, one doctor say 3 weeks, one doctor say 3 years. I don't think about it. That's the reason why I say my thinking
Mm.
is my healing.
Right. That's beautiful. Right.
You know?
It's everything. Everything biological is everything physical is biological, and having that mindset is like
Yeah,
a beautiful way
yeah,
to keep on. Um.
yeah.
Wow.
You just keep on. You just if you have a sickness, you just keep on doing live the same life. You always live
Right.
and don't think about the sickness because you know it's there, but you don't think about it. So my thinking is my healing because when I think deep. I think about what the doctor said. I don't think what he said. I think about that. I think past that.
It's very, very profound. And
Yeah,
like I imagine this the kind of growing up through the uh, bouncing from different orphanages and having to fight for the mic. I imagine growing up like that definitely helped install that mindset. Hello?
Hello? Hey, Dave, sorry. Sorry to interrupt. We're about to make a stop. We're arriving at the venue to do like the sound check and
Okay.
stuff. I don't know if there's a way that you want to wrap up the call with that, or you want to do like a continuation.
I would love to do a continuation if you guys would like. But that's it. That's part one. That's all we get for right now. Hopefully we get part two soon. But that's some inspirational stuff to go out on, I think. And yeah. So with that, tune in for the next one, friends.